Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Friday the 13th of February. With McShane, we reach the end of Romans today, reading chapter 16. And in verse 17, Paul teaches, I urge you, brothers and sisters, to watch out for those who cause divisions and put obstacles in your way that are contrary to the teachings you have learned. Keep away from them. And so in Paul's day, as it has continued through the last 2,000 years, there will be people that become part of the church and teach things which are contrary to the teachings we've received, which is what we have in Scripture. And Scripture is our guide. And so there are things which Scripture plainly teaches. And so if somebody in the church says, you've got to love the people round about you, Scripture teaches that. Love your brothers and sisters. Love one another. Time and time again, you've got to love. Doesn't say anything about that the people have to be nice or that they have to be like us or they have to be agreeable. They can even be our enemies. And Paul says, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Sorry, Jesus says that. So we're stuck. We've got to love. The teachings that we've received in Scripture are love. So if somebody says that, yes, absolutely. Some people might come and say, oh, you need to journal. If you're a good Christian, you need to journal. Well, journaling's helpful, and it certainly is worth doing, and many people find it beneficial. But there's a tendency sometimes for people to say, what's been useful to me must be useful to you, therefore you've got to do it. And it moves from being an encouragement and a suggestion to being a rule. And we've got to get back to Scripture and say, where does it say that in the Bible? The Bible doesn't mention journaling at all. So you can do it, but nobody can require it of you and put it there and say, you've got to do this. And if you don't, you're not a good Christian. That becomes an obstacle. And there's some things which are completely against Scripture. And usually when they're taught in the church, it's a church that's on its path to becoming a sect. And so there are people that say, if you join the church, you've got to cut yourself off from your family. If they're not believers, have nothing to do with them. If the people around about you aren't Christian, don't have anything to do with them. If the people that you're associating with aren't a part of our church, then they're not good for you. Don't associate with them. And that clearly is against the teaching of Scripture, which says, honor your father and mother, not cut yourself off from them, love your neighbors, and sort of be involved in the community, love the people around about you. There's nowhere in Scripture does it say, cut yourself off and become a tiny little isolated sect. And so if anybody comes in teaching that, you can stand against them, because that is divisive. Starts cutting people off. It's contrary to the teachings of Scripture, and it's an obstacle to so many people. So as Christians, we have the teachings we've received and we've learned given to us in Scripture that we can get back to, and that's our standard. And as we walk in that way, we are blessed.